Welcome back to the Design, Creativity and Technology channel. My name's Aaron.
So approximately 6 months ago, I was doing a batch of aluminium angle plates for my customer Mark from Phase Change Converters. And as I was pulling them off the machine, I was numbering them with a black texter, you know, part 1, part 2, that sort of thing. And I was speaking to an old mate of mine. He says, why don't you just use the batch counter on the controller? I said, look, I don't even know if it has one. I'd have to look into it. So whilst talking on the phone, the machine was running, I got into the controller and I typed in a batch number. And I think back then I might have typed in 75 or something like that. I can't remember. And lo and behold, the batch number started working, and that's the last time I'd forgotten about it. Anyway, so I went to use the machine about a week or 2 weeks ago. And since then, I'd run another batch of these same plates. So I reckon I did another 55 cycles. Anyway, I ran a spindle warm-up on the machine, and as soon as it completed the spindle warm-up, the machine went out on an alarm. And it was a weird alarm, and I hadn't seen it before. And it really stuffed me because it locked me out of the machine for a day. I couldn't jog it, I couldn't home it, I couldn't do anything with it. It was dead as a doornail. Now, a lot of people worry about buying these Chinese style machines because they worry about after sales service and support. However, that can't be further from the truth. So I contacted Mr. Chen. Mr. Chen works as one of the CNC technicians over in China, and just via Skype. And I said, hey, Mr. Chen, I've got this alarm. What can you do for me? Anyway, lo and behold, he came back. It was either that night or that afternoon or the next morning, and he said, reset your batch counter. So I felt like a total dick, all right? Because I'd set this batch counter over 6 months ago, I'd totally forgotten about it. And what I actually thought had happened, I thought maybe the spindle encoder went out or something like that. It just totally threw me for a 6. So anyway, today's video, I'd like to show you what I did and what I did wrong and how I cleared the error. And the reason I'm showing you this is because on YouTube, you usually only see people's success stories. You never see the stuff-ups or the ruined parts or anything like that. So, hey, I'm a human being like everyone else, and I make plenty of mistakes. So I want to show you this in case you've got the same control and you might have the same error like I do, and how I got out of it and how I cleared it. So let's start the machine up and let's take a look at it. I've got the camera zoomed in on the LNC controller, and at the moment you can see my batch counter. So counting now is at 1. Now in the controller we can go back and reset that. On the bottom line here we go set counter, and there's a button here that says clear counter. So I can clear that and set that back to 0. Now, the fatal mistake I made was that I had the maximum value set. So if I go count maximum, and if I type in 2, enter, you can see here that the maximum counter has now gone to 2. Now in MDI, I'll run 2 tool changes, okay, and watch what happens. So we'll go back to the controller, into MDI. Count. What makes the counter work is having the G code M30 in the code, which means M30 means to terminate the program and go back to the start. So I'll manually input that now, so M30. And what I'll do, I'll log into the controller and I'll command a tool change. So I'll press cycle start. It will put tool 1 away and go and pick up tool 11. So now when we look at our count now, it's counted 1. Now the M30 is what's making it count. If the M30 wasn't there, it wouldn't count, okay? So now, one more time, I'll do another tool change, and I'll put that tool away and I'll call up tool 1 again by just simply deleting that one and log into the controller again. And you watch what's gonna happen. It's gonna alarm out after it does the tool change. I'll reposition the camera to show you. Cycle start. And we're out on alarm now. Now the alarm, this is what threw me. It went out after I did a spindle warm-up cycle. And I didn't read properly. I didn't work in piece. I just saw counting arrival setting. And that's where I thought I blew an encoder or did something wrong. Now, if I try to reset that, nothing works. It will not reset, okay? It's still out on alarm. So if I try to jog it, it just won't move. It's dead to the world. Nothing's moving here, okay? I can't reset the alarm, nothing happens, all right? I'm going to reposition the camera to show you. Position the camera. You can see the top of the work light there, that it's in an alarm status. Just take it back down to the controller. We'll zoom in a little bit. So I'll get you on this side angle. Now there's only one way to reset this alarm. And this is what Mr. Chen told me to do. We have to go back in and change that batch counter. So I'll just enter OK for the moment. It's still an alarm status. I need to go back to the home screen for this and go back to my set counter. And in here I need that count maximum. I need to set that to 0, enter. Watch when I push the button reset, the alarm goes away and I now have full CNC control again. I can jog the table and I can send it home. Anyway guys, that concludes today's video, and as always I hope you learnt something from it. What I learnt from it was never ever frig around with the controller. Guys, I'm old school, okay? I simply pull off a part and write the number on it with the texter. It rubs off quite easily. You're that bored anyway, waiting for the machine to finish, unless you've got other things to do. You know, you're just sitting on your backside anyway, you know, looking at Netflix or something. So for me, yeah, look, frigging around with the controller, that cost me time. That I'd lost a full day production, and it's my own. Hey, look, it's nobody's fault but my own. It's my own stupid fault for frigging around with it. But had you not encountered this error, well, you wouldn't know how to fix it, would you? So as as I fessed up before, I was quite embarrassed about this, about the error, and I'd never used a batch counter before. You know, just goes to show I'm a simple man and simple things work for me. Anyway, have a lovely day, and I'll catch you on the next DCT video, whenever that may be. See you later. Bye-bye.